What is James' Latin name? Justus. The defeated character is someone called Justus Barsabbas, whom we never hear from again. Are you gentlemen coming in?
How you doing today, sir? What's the speech about? Can you let me know that? I've just passed through the library and I heard you speaking, so I thought I had to stop all by. I guess I don't get an answer on that one. All right.
Peace.
Welcome to the committee. Okay. What's the speech conversation about?
It's about James, the brother of Jesus.
James, the brother of Jesus. All right, well, what James had to do with his brother Jesus? All right, I'll step on that. I don't want to speech or anything.
Pardon me, people like that worry me. And you understand why. Look, we're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings here. What we're trying to do is to resurrect people from the oblivion they have been cast into in history. We're not hurting anything that Christianity has to say, because we're taking a brother of Jesus and bringing him back into life. You know, I think if Jesus were alive today and things were said and done in his name that were not his, he would want us to know that. There are statements said. There are wolf in sheep's clothing who are coming to deceive the flock. There are all kinds of polemical statements of that kind. So I think that if there were problems, and I think after the Holocaust, he would expect us to do this. If these things contributed to the Holocaust, and I'm going to show you some things that did contribute to the Holocaust, the mindset that caused that is fed into people's minds generation after generation as holy writ, as truth, when in fact a lot of people who believe in these things are embarrassed by those things themselves and would like a way out. I give a way out. Who? The closest person to Jesus, his successor, his closest living heir, his actual heir in Palestine, if not elsewhere. You know, at the end of my book, someone said in one review from the Jerusalem Post, Eisenman's conclusion is apocalyptic. That is, who and whatever, if you're looking for the historical Jesus, basically you need to search for the historical James. The Pseudo-Clementines say, and this is a statement attributed to Jesus, be like good money changers, able to tell false coin from truth. I say if you're looking for the historical Jesus, you should look for the historical James. And who and whatever James was, so Jesus would also be. I'll come back to the Judas Iscariot thing in a moment, but since we're on the James thing, let me just tell you one quick point which is so moving and touching about James. From our other sources, I haven't even got into it. I've done all the negatives. James was a vegetarian. I think because he kept the extreme purity regime of the Qumran community and then some. James was a Nazirite from his mother's womb. There's nothing of this that's offensive to any of us. All of us want to be holy. There are many of these things that are very sympathetic to us. So how do you know these things? James is the most documented person outside of the Bible of anybody in the New Testament. We have more extra biblical material about James than any other character, including Peter, including John the Baptist. The only one who compares with James for extra biblical material about him, you know, James is in the Nag Hammadi materials. The only one who compares is John the Baptist. We have a long testimony to John the Baptist where? In the Antiquities, in Josephus. But other than that, we don't have a lot of testimony to these people. Peter, we have very little about. Now, I will tell you something about Peter in a moment. All of these people, John the Baptist included. John is a vegetarian, you know, according to the Gospel of Luke. John was holy from his mother's womb, just like James was, that is, a lifelong Nazirite. These people, according to the Pseudo-Clementines, whether right or wrong, you'll have to go to the Pseudo-Clementines and weigh them and see if they have anything in them. They're novels, true, but so the material we have is novelized. You have to compare one with the other, be like good money changers. But the characters that emerge are very sympathetic. Look, Peter, according to the Pseudo-Clementines, like James, is a vegetarian. You know, I have a dedication in this book, a quote from the Pseudo-Clementine homilies, which quotes Peter preaching things we don't even have in Acts. And these are very old sources. They may not be as old as some of our other sources, but they're very old. Here is Peter, Pseudo-Clementine homilies. Our Lord and prophet who has sent us declared to us that the evil one, having disputed with him 40 days, but failing to prevail against him, promised he would send apostles from among his subjects to deceive them. Therefore, above all, remember to shun. This is where I bring up, remember I mentioned to the community rule? And Josephus' Essenes too, they shun backsliders. They curse backsliders. But anyway, let's go on here. Therefore, remember to shun any apostle, teacher, or prophet who does not accurately compare his teaching with that of James, the brother of my Lord, and this even if he comes to you with recommendations. Pseudo-Clementine's homilies, 1135, Peter preaching at Tripoli. How many have heard that? Nobody. Nobody. Well, a few of us have, but the reason is these are the excluded materials. But some of these materials have pearls of wisdom, and if we don't know about the historicity, you'll have to be the judge of that. You are the final ones who will make the decision after weighing the evidence. So we give you the evidence, you decide, but look at the Peter that emerges in the Pseudo-Clementines. He's a daily bather, he's a vegetarian, he wears threadbare clothes like the Essenes, he rises before dawn and prays every day. Now, we don't get any material like that in the book of Acts at all. You can collate the speeches in the book of Acts attributed to Peter, and basically they recapitulate Pauline doctrine. Particularly that the Jews killed all the prophets, and the Jews are stiff-necked and always disobeying the Lord, etc., etc., etc. There are 5 speeches, I have counted them, where Peter says that. Just like Stephen says. Some say exactly the same thing. So my conclusion is, as James was written out, as I told you, anti-Semitism was written in. So I don't think that we're doing a disservice to this material. I believe we're rescuing it from extreme things that you would not want on your conscience. And you would want to historically revive what you would want on your conscience. And we are bringing these people, Jesus included, back to life as extreme holy people. Also, to my way of thinking, part of the uprising against Rome. Let me go back to 2 other episodes, and then I'll finish up at least this presentation. We're talking about the election. So what do we have? A Judas Iscariot. Someone actually voiced it here. Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot. That's the closest word we have to it. Judas the Sicarii were the extreme form of zealotry. But you know, even I didn't know these things when I started writing, which is why it got so long. It turns out that in the 2nd century, the Romans saw all circumcisers as Sicarion.